Big Ten and the SEC screw it up even more? Welcome to episode 369 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Dan Wolken, USA Today. Sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. But he put out an article yesterday that I think it's pretty interesting. And I do agree with some of the points. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comments section below the video. We provide a link in the description. You can read the whole thing. But basically, will the Big Ten and the SEC screw it all up even more than it is today? Let's get to it. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and his colleagues know how to make gobs of money for themselves, but reform in college sports, they don't have the foggiest idea what they're doing. Again, from Dan Wolken, USA Today. Whether he wants to admit it or not, Southeastern Conference Commissioner Greg Sankey has cast himself as the man who will either preserve the Big Ten model of college that we've known for generations, or the man who will light the fuse that finally implodes the NCAA. It has come to that through years of passive-aggressive threats toward the little guys of college sports who are just trying to hang on for dear life amidst the tidal wave of changes they have little to do with. It has come to that through incessant whining and blame shifting about how badly others, never his mighty SEC, mind you, are screwing up the enterprise with their inaction and failure to see the future. And finally, it has come to that through the new SEC and the Big Ten advisory group that is being talked about around the industry as something more significant than a few college administrators exchanging ideas. We have a responsibility for leadership, Sankey said Wednesday during an appearance on the SEC's network Palm Feinbaum show. But what will they do with that responsibility? And do the people assuming they even have capacity or desire to truly wield it? Beyond Sankey's proclivity to tweet his reading list and high-minded but mostly fascist the way he speaks about the real problems facing college sports, there aren't magical answers to what historic realities have worked really well in college sports over decades, he told Feinbaum. And now we're being challenged in different ways, whether it's within our campus settings, a challenge in courts, challenge in state legislatures, a challenge in Congress. But bringing it back to responsibility that these two highly prominent conferences share to help introduce some new perspective, perhaps some new ideas, some new thinking, or maybe even more importantly, help cut through the bureaucratic tape that we face so often as we try to effect change in college athletics. All those are part of that phrasing that this is bigger than just us. Yeah, well, we've heard this all before. This was Greg Sankey with Paul Feinbaum. That's why I read it through so fast. We've heard this before. But what is Sankey's ideas? What is his real ideas? What is Tony Petitti's vision? Where is the actual beef? Back to the article. I will get back to what the point I'm trying to make when we finish this article. What does that exactly mean? There are thousands of people literally working in athletic departments from Grand Valley State to Gonzaga and everywhere in between who would like to know. When you talk to some of those people, reaction to the SEC Big Ten partnership is a mix of sheer terror and hope. Well, on one hand, it is easy to see a future in which those two conferences just go off on their own and form some kind of new enterprise, taking the spoils for themselves and leaving everyone else holding the bag. And they can do it quite reasonably under the guise of the NCAA being too unwieldy to thread the needle between the haves and the have-nots, and too slow to react to the litany of lawsuits that are challenging pretty much every facet of the current model. Sankey practically lays the groundwork for that kind of move Every time he opens his mouth, saying Wednesday he left the NCAA convention in Phoenix with the feeling that we're just not making the kind of progress necessary on really important issues. But the other perspective you hear falls along these lines. If the SEC and the Big Ten don't take the league in figuring this out, who will? The larger NCAA membership? Congress? Good luck with that. At least a system built around the realities of the SEC and the Big Ten, revenue sharing, and that athlete employment model, or whatever it is necessary to stabilize the ecosystem, would give everyone an idea of what's necessary to fall in line. Here's the rub, though. Again, from Dan Wolken, USA Today. We're a decade into this slow-moving disaster, and still nobody in position of power, even Sankey, is willing or able to articulate what actually needs to happen or what they want to do. I agree with Dan Wolken. Enough with this. We've heard the same thing over and over again. Give us an articulate vision. Sankey, Petiti, the time's up. The time's up. We got to see it. We got to hear it. And then we've got to believe it. It's beyond, back to the article, it's beyond time for that. It should have happened years ago. And Sankey is not blameless. Far from it. In the failure to act with adequate urgency. Now we get yet another committee. Only this time, there's a long-standing personal friendship between Sankey and the relatively new Big Ten commissioner, Tony Petiti, at the forefront, rather than the frosty relations and rivalry keeping these two leagues apart. Here's an opportunity to slim down the participants. Focus between the two conferences with the idea we can introduce others and consider and react to it, Sankey told Feinbaum. We have no unilateral authority. We have a set of pressing issues upon us that merit this type of conversation. This is not a new notion, much less a revolutionary one. It's just another way to repackage the same schlock they have fed us for years. You can read the whole article in the link. Just hit the link. It's in the description. Dan Wolken, USA Today. This is not a new notion, much less a revolutionary one. It's just another way to repackage the same schlock. I used to use the word schlock a lot in my lingo, but I'm going to have to reintroduce it after I've read it here, Dan Wolken's article. I did not go through the whole article because I think that paints the picture of what Dan Wolken was trying to get at in his article, USA Today, yesterday. I agree. I mean, do I blame the Big Ten and the SEC for creating an advisory board to try to get through the bureaucratic red tape, to try to set a consensus between the two conferences, and then bring in other groups like the Big 12 and the ACC and try to build a consensus that way? No, I don't blame them at all. It's a good move, fine, whatever. But Greg Sankey has not articulated a vision. Neither has Tony Petiti. Greg Sankey has been behind the curve the whole time. He's been dragging his feet the whole time on what college sports needs to get to. He just has. He has been going to Congress hoping that they would make a carve-out exceptions for the NCAA. He does not believe in student athletes becoming employees of the universities or the conferences. Doesn't talk about collective bargaining agreement, but where the student athletes get represented. He doesn't talk about really any of these issues. He whines a lot. He complains a lot. And Tony Petiti, I know that he's a new commissioner. Okay, fine. But now it's time, Tony. Now it's time. Put out your vision. Who's stopping you? You and Sankey get up in front of the microphone together. Have a big press conference. Tell us your vision. Actually lead. Maybe this advisory group buys you some time to figure out what all your athletic directors want, what you're thinking. But my goodness, the time is a ticking. I actually agree with most of what Dan Wolken said here. I don't even know. It's not so much the Big Ten and the SEC are going to screw it up even more. Are they going to say, are they going to actually articulate a vision? I have my doubts. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comment section below the video. I want this game of college football to prosper, to grow. I love it. It's my passion outside of my wife, my family, and God. But my goodness, we need at least somebody to give us a vision. Until next time. From all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.